This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Pasuk Beis. It's been a little bit of a while. Zecharia, Perek Yud, Pasuk Beis. Now, it's interesting that the language of the Nevi'im change from Navi to Navi. We know there's a rule, Ein Shnei Nevi'im Misnavim B'Signon Echad. Every Navi has their own style. But in general, the earlier Nevi'im are easier to read and understand than the later Nevi'im. Certainly Sefer Yehoshua, Sefer Shmuel, Sefer Malachim is a lot easier to understand than Yeshaya, Yirmiyah, Yecheskel, and even Zecharia. It's attributed to the Vilna Gaon that the earlier Nevi'im were misnave in a more of aspaklaria ha'meira than the later Nevi'im. The later Nevi'im's vision was not as crystal clear as the earlier Nevi'im. And sometimes the language is harder to understand. Okay, so Pasuk Beis. This is talking about, according to most, in the times of the Messianic era, or in the time right before the Messianic era. But according to some, this refers to Greek domination before the takeover of the Chashonaim. Ki hatrafim dibru aven. The Trafim speak words of nothing. Now, what does the word Trafim mean?
Now, what is that? Isn't that what Rachel took?
Well, we know that Rachel took the Trafim of her father, so that would seem to imply that this refers to Avodah Zarah, but not all Mefarshim say that the word Trafim refers to actual Avodah Zarah. The Metzudas Tzion says Trafim are asuyim heim b'tzuras adam. They are like a mannequin. They're in the image of a man. They're the tzur of a man. They're able to speak the future through witchcraft. The Ramban in Chumash says, in fact, that Trafim are not Avodah Zarah, but it's some type of image that has capacity to speak. Now, that has the capacity to speak. It's interesting because if you look in Hallel, we say about Avodah Zarah, it says Nayim Lohem V'lo Yishma Aflam V'lo Yirichin Yedem V'lo Yimishma Raglam V'lo Yechem V'lo Yegu B'Gronim. They have all the things, but we don't say Pelohem V'lo Yedaberu. Why? What does Vilna Gaon say?
A big island, a big monument. Somebody made, and somebody was ready to talk.
So
they climbed up there and took out for Jesus Hashem.
In the times of Nebuchadnezzar, so when everybody was asked to bow down to the Tzelem, so Daniel went up there, and this Tzelem not only looked like a man, but actually spoke, because the name of God was inserted into its mouth. And Daniel climbed up there, and he removed the Shem Hashem, thereby rendering it mute. But that is why in Tehillim we say Pelahem v'lo yidaberu, Einayim lahem v'lo yiru, Aznayim lahem v'lo yishmo, Af lahem v'lo yirichon. But in V'aschanan it says you're going to go and you're going to bow down to idols, and it doesn't mention Pelahem v'lo yidaberu. So the Vilna Gaon says, referring to the idol of Nebuchadnezzar, that Pelahem v'yidaberu did speak. But according to what we're learning now, it wasn't only that idol, but apparently there was some type of phenomenon where through witchcraft the idol is able to talk. The Hakoismim, the diviners, Chazu Sheker, they saw falsehood. Bachaloimois Hashav Yidaberu. And the dreamers, they speak emptiness. Hevel Yenachemon, they console with nothing. Alkain, therefore, Nasu, they have wandered off, Chamaitzain, like sheep. Yanu, they are humbled. Ki ein raya, because there's no shepherd. What does this refer to? Says Rashi, Alkain Nasu, therefore they wander off. Avalani Navi Lohem Be'emes, says Zecharia, I am the true prophet. Yanu means, like we translated, Yiskanu, they will be submissive. So, the Rebbeinu Shalom is bemoaning the fact, and the Navi is saying that all of the diviners and sorcerers who told them, don't worry, you could leave God, nothing bad will happen, they led us on a path of falsehood. Mm-hmm. They convinced us that the Beis Hamikdash would never be destroyed, when in fact it was. Says the Radak, Oz Yakiru, then we will recognize Ki Hatrafim Dibru Aven, that the Trafim spoke emptiness. Ki yiru, they'll see ki hanavui sha'amru neviya emes niskaimu. All the prophecies of the prophets were fulfilled. Harois niskaimu b'churban haaretz. The evils were fulfilled. The hanachamis niskaimu zmanahu. And all the consolation was also fulfilled. And then they'll recognize that the false diviners misled them. When the diviner said Shalom Yeh Lachem, we will recognize that it was not so. Pasuk Gimel. Al Haroyim Chara Api. Against the shepherds, my anger flares. V'al Ha'atudim, and against the goats, Efgoid, I will visit punishment. Now, who are the shepherds and who are the goats? Ki Fakad Hashem Tzvakos Es Edrei. God will remember His flock, Espes Yehuda, the house of Judah. The Samaisam, He will make them Kesus Haidai B'Malchama, as a horse's glory is in war. Vas Meintas, what's this talking about? So Rashi learns the shepherds that Hashem will get angry at are Al Malchei Nebuchadnezzar v'Sancheriv. The kings are referred to as shepherds. God will get angry at Nebuchadnezzar and Sancheriv. Now, why are these Gentile kings called shepherds? Well, that's because Klal Yisrael is metaphorically referred to as sheep. And therefore those who tended to us, the Radak learns it refers to Antiochets, who oppressed us. Or Atudim, or goats. Who are the goats? The goats usually refer to Greece. In Sefer Daniel, the goats refer to Greece. Why are they called goats?
Why do they call it Tudim and not Ale or what's the other word for Tudim appears by Lavan, right?
It's a male goat. So why are they referred to as goats? Well, because when the sheep walk, they usually follow the goats. The Radak says, Himshal hamalachim ashotim l'royim, oy la'atudim ha'holchim l'fnei hatzayim. So this refers specifically to Greece. And Hashem will remember us. And while in the past we were like meek sheep, now we will be like horses. A horse's glory is in battle. When a horse comes to the battlefield, that's when the horse has its moment in stardom. It's time to shine. So Hashem says, I will transform you from the meek sheep to the powerful horse. The Radak says, like a horse that shows its power and strength in war. Okay. Pasuk Dalin, Mimenu Fina, from it will be the cornerstone. We'll see. What's the it? That's $1 million question. Who's the it? Mimenu Yased, from it will be the foundation. Mimenu Keshes Muhammad, from it will be the bow of war. Mimenu, from it Yetzei Chol Noiges Yachdav, all the leaders will come forth together. The Targum Yonasim Ben Uziel translates that who are the Noigse? Usually it means oppressors, but here it refers to as Parnasahi, the leaders. The leaders. What does this mean? Says Rashi, while in the past we were ruled over by foreigners, now the Jewish people will supply for themselves their own leaders, their own rulers. So from them themselves will come their cornerstone. From them themselves will come their foundation. From them will come their bow. From them will come their rulers. Interesting. Now, we translate the word noiges as oppressor like the Targum. Others learn differently, that the word noiges refers to, as a Radak, Shiur noigsim b'saineim. He translates it as oppressors, but our leaders will be oppressors of others. In other words, we will dominate other nations. Okay.
Isn't noiges have a negative connotation in terms of how you treat the people?
It means an oppressor. We will oppress them. Yeah.
So when in the Asad Lavo, when the nations will all have to toe the line, so to speak, to Jews, are we going to oppress them? That's not the way we do things.
Well, some of them we will.
If they don't toe the line,
Well, you see, there's a pasuk in Tanakh that says, Yitzmach tzaddik ki chazanakam. The tzaddik will rejoice when he sees revenge. Not all of a sudden, oh, when Mashiach comes, now we're all at peace and we all put our arms around each other and we say, right? Utopians say, no, there's revenge. There's revenge. You think the Germans will get off scot-free then? No.
Palestinians?
No. All the nations of the world will get revenge. God will take revenge, and the tzaddikim will rejoice in seeing the revenge. In fact, the Chafetz Chaim writes in the Hakdama to the Mishnah Berurah that all the Rishon that tormented us, how's Hashem going to be able to take proper revenge? After a few minutes, that's going to be the end of them. So they're gonna be destroyed before they get their full recompense. It's not fair. After all the persecution against us, they're going to get off easily. You shoot them and that's it. So Chafetz Chaim says, don't worry, Hashem's going to reconstitute them to do it again. Chafetz Chaim writes this in the introduction to the Mishnah Berurah. Don't worry that the Goyim will get off free. No, there's revenge, and part of the happiness of the future time is witnessing the revenge.
I just wanted to say
You don't like that?
no, I don't.
Yeah.
I tell you,
Yeah, but it's not.
It's not for me.
Yeah, it's not opinion.
Let me just say this. It's not for me to say I don't like it.
Right.
What I would say to you, I feel that if the focus was peace and it was an instrument that showed those that were oppressing them that they wanted to act in a peaceful manner with them and to try to find a path to follow to get humanity to get on that road, then they would be doing, I feel, a lot more than fighting and destroying other
why
people.
Are we allowed to take revenge?
Well, but if for hundreds of years, Gentiles, if for hundreds of years they persecuted us, and they murdered our children, and they kidnapped our families, then we don't have the right to say, well, now let's live in harmony. No, we don't have the right to do that. Right? Haninu goyim amay kidam avodav yikayim. What about the blood? All the blood that was shed. We're going to ignore it? We're going to make believe it didn't happen? We're going to say it's okay? We don't have the right to do that.
But may I just say something here, please?
It's something that sometimes it's not so easy to swallow if someone is a peace-loving human being. But nevertheless, there is a place for revenge. Kel nekamayis Hashem.
No, I just wanted to say there's a strong possibility that at some point in time Hashem would have intervened and brought about peace because Israel, or those in the Jewish people, were being subjected to what you just told me. And I just feel that the world, the focus from all humanity should be peace.
Yes.
Peace comes through strength. Peace comes through strength.
There's
show weakness, all we get is oppression.
There's also mishpat. Mishpat is also part of the justice of the ways of God.
He says in Tehillim in several places, praiseworthy is one who dashes your infants on a rock. This is revenge, pure and simple.
Yeah.
It's part of our tradition. Eventually, we're going to get the upper hand.
When that pasuk Yismach Tzaddik Ki Chazanakam, it says he'll soak his feet in the blood of the wicked.
Yeah. Your dogs will lick their blood.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Let's move on. Chigi Boyrem Boysem Petit Chutzos Lamalchama. Okay, this is definitely not for the faint-hearted. Okay, this they will be like mighty warriors, boisim, who trample betit chutzos, in the dirt of the streets, b'malchama, at war. In other words, we will then trample our enemies like those who trample in the mud in the streets. Just like the men of Greece trampled on us, we will now trample on them. Exactly. Look at Rashi. Hari mikra zeh masuras. It's a backward pasuk. V'hayu b'milchama. At war, holchim v'darchim anashim kavivarim. We will trample men like mighty warriors, who trample the tit chutzos. They trample the dirt in the streets. Says the pasuk. V'nilchamu. We will wage war ki Hashem imam. Hashem is with us. V'hoivishu roichvei susim. And we will embarrass the riders of horses who come out to wage war with us. V'gibarti, and I will empower us, Beis Yehuda, the house of Yehuda, Beis Yosef Oshia, I will save the house of Joseph. Now Rashi says something remarkable. What do you mean the house?
Why Beis Yehuda and Beis Yosef are singled out?
Okay, good. So listen to what Rashi says. Says Rashi, what is the Beis Yosef? Says, let's look at the Mari Kara first. Beis Yosef, Elu Yud Shvatim, the 10 tribes who had been exiled by Sancheirav, they're coming back.
Why do you call Beis Yosef?
Well, it was Yehuda, Malchei Yisrael. Well, primarily from Yosef, Yeravam ben Nevat was from that Shevet and so forth. Look at Rashi. Beis Yosef Asher b'makom shagalu sham, in the place that they were exiled. B'chalach u'b'chavar b'mei Sancheirav. All those 10 tribes, I'm going to bring them back. V'hoish voisim, and I will settle them. Rashi learns, others learn it means I'll return them. Kiri chamtim, because I have had mercy on them. V'hoyu, and it will be ka'asher loy zenachtim, as if I never forsook them. It will be such a time of happiness that it will be as if God never forsook us. Ki ani Hashem Elokeim, I am Hashem their God, ve'e'enim, and I will answer them. Now, according to Rashi, God will return the Aseres Hashvatim. Ibn Ezra says, V'gibarti Yehuda v'Yosef hem habayim me'ashur el bayasheni. Ibn Ezra learns this prophecy is that God will return the 10 tribes in the times of the second Beis HaMikdash. To which the Abarbanel asks, the second Beis HaMikdash, since when did Aseres Hashvatim ever return in the times of Bayesheni? Now we do know that the Gemara Megillah says Yirmiyah brought them back, but that was already before the destruction of the first Beis HaMikdash. But that Jews should return by Bayesheni from Aseres Hashvatim, he doesn't accept that. Okay. V'hayu Pasuk Zayin, Kegibar Ephraim. Ephraim will be like a mighty warrior. Now, what does that mean? Why Ephraim? So, the Mitzudai says that usually Ephraim are not the warriors. Af she'enim gibarim yahargu kegibar. Even Ephraim, which is a shevet that was not trained in warfare, they'll also know what to do. And when they see how successful they are at war, they'll rejoice. Pasuk says, "V'samach libam k'mo yayin." Their hearts will rejoice like wine. It doesn't mean like wine, because wine doesn't rejoice, but rather it means as if biyayin, as if somebody who drinks wine, right? When you drink wine, it makes you happy. So these nations, Ephraim, who never waged war before, God will empower them and they will be happy. Uvneim and their children. Yiru v'samech. They'll see and they'll rejoice of their parents' success. Yagel libam Hashem. Their hearts will rejoice in God. Eshrika lahem. I will whistle to them. Va'akabetzim. And I will gather them. You know, when you want to gather someone, yeah, you whistle them down. Kifadisim, because I have redeemed them. V'ravu kamay ravu. They will be numerous like they once were. Let's take a look at Rashi. Eshkolahem. Kederach hasharkim l'simen ois. Lavei olav hatay baderach. Va'akabetzim. The time of the cates. I will gather them because I have redeemed them. Says Rashi, and then they will start to multiply like they once did. A reference to what time? The way they multiplied in Egypt.
I mean, why, in terms of gathering, do we have to do Esher? Why not blowing the shofar? The whistling, that's more like, the Gentiles whistle. The Jews use the shofar. Very strange. I don't recall ever seeing that when the Jews had to be gathered, that they would be gathered by somebody whistling. I mean, even on Shabbos, you're not supposed to whistle, right? It's like a rachol, but it also has a goyish connotation to it.
Well, there's a Yiddish expression, Jew doesn't whistle. A Yid pfeift nicht, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
But is there really a basis there? Why a whistle? Why a whistle? There's a pasuk in Eicha. Sharku vayacharku shein. Right? In Eicha, we also find an expression of whistling. Sharku shein.
Mitzvahs also cites the use in Yeshaya.
Interesting. Okay. V'ezra'im ba'amim. Now that's an interesting pasuk. I will what? Literally it means I will scatter them. Why would God be scattering us?
Shorter hand Rashi says Hatorim Badeh. The guys who have strayed.
Okay, so what? That's the language they understand.
Watch football. They don't know what whistles are.
It's like a penalty.
So far from the
So v'yezroim ba'amim. Rashi learns, I will plant them among the nations like someone who plants a small amount and it will flourish to a large amount. Uvamer chakim yizkaruni. And they will remember me from great distances. V'chayu es b'neihem vashavu. They will live with their children and return.
By the way, the Sansino says on Eshrika, called like a whistle, such as the shepherd makes to attract the attention of his sheep.
Okay. V'hashivoisim e'eretz Mitzrayim. I will gather them. Can I have a sefer Yeshaya, please? I will gather them from the land of Egypt. Umei Ashur akavetzeim, and from Assyria I will gather them. Now, what are these people doing in Egypt? What does that mean? I'll gather them from Egypt. So he brings down here a Radak in Yeshaya Parak Chav Zayin Pasuk Yud Beis that before Mashiach comes, everyone's going to Egypt. V'haya b'yom hahu yachvod Hashem mishiboilas hanor anach hamatzayim v'atem telukutu li'achad echad b'nei Yisrael. V'haya b'yom hahu yitaka b'shoifar uvo ha'ivdim b'yeretz asher anidachim b'yeretz Mitzrayim. Who are these nidachim b'yeretz Mitzrayim? So we've said over many times from the Bnei Yissaschar, the nidachim b'yeretz Mitzrayim are the 4/5 of Jews who never made it out of Egypt. They died in Egypt. And that's why Moshe Rabbeinu was buried in the Midbar, so he has to take out the 4/5. But that's what the Bnei Yissaschar says. Apparently the Radak has a different shot. And the Radak says that v'amar ad nachem l'sam ki ad Mitzrayim yavoyu v'sham yiskabtzu im achihem b'nei agolas hazeh v'yalu l'Yushalayim.
They have to go directly, right? They can't go by the same route that they left.
Yeah.
Here he says that the Targum teaches this, as I took them out of Eretz Mitzrayim, so I will gather them out of Assyria. So it's a kind of an analogy, the same way that I took them out of Eretz Mitzrayim.
Uchema da'afaktinun me'ad Mitzrayim, just like to them Mitzrayim. Kain ma'ator akarev galusun al Gilad. So it's an analogy, it's a metaphor.
Right.
But here it says that apparently all the Shvatim will gather in Egypt, and from there the Rebbeinu Shalom will bring us where? V'al Eretz, Gilad, u'Levanoin, Aviyim, I'll bring you to Gilad. Gilad is Evar HaYarden. Levanoin is Israel proper. Levanoin is, Rashi learns like he does in Vaschanan, is the Beis HaMikdash, or it refers to the great forest of Lebanon in northern Israel. Aviyim v'lo yimatzei lahem. And it won't even be enough. The Jews will be so successful and will flourish so much that the land will not contain them. Ve'avar bayom tzara. And God will pass distress upon the sea. Ve'hiko vayom galim. And God will strike the waves in the sea. V'hayvishon, he'll dry out kol metzulos ya'ar. All the deep waters will dry out. V'hurad ga'oin Ashur. And the majesty of Assyria will descend. V'shevet Mitzrayim yasur. And the rod of Egypt will be removed. What is this talking about? Let's see Rashi. Rashi says, Va'avar bayom tzara. V'savar tzara b'tzur. Tzur, distress will come to Tzur. Tzur is one of the prestigious cities of Edom, which is in the middle of the sea. Hayoshez v'seichayim v'hu roish l'malchus Tzur. V'hika HaKadosh Baruch Hu will smite the waves to destroy Tzur. And the Metzulos Ya'ar, the depths of the river, refer to Egypt. But this pasuk also has another meaning. Va'avar bayom tzara. I was looking at this pasuk this morning and trying to remember, where did I see this pasuk before? Va'avar bayom tzara. Va'avar bayom tzara. There's a comment of the Vilna Gaon in Parshas B'Shalach by the Kriyas Yamsov. First it says, Vayavru b'soich vayavru vayavasha b'soich hayam v'hamayim lohem chayma miminam u'mismailam. The first time it says b'soich vayavasha b'soich hayam, and then it says chayma mole with a vav. The second time it says Vayavru b'soich hayam vayavasha v'hamayim lohem chayma miminam u'mismailam. So it says they passed bayam b'soich hayam vayavasha. It says it backward, and the second time it says chayma chaser, missing a vav. And Chazal say al tikri chayma elachema. God got angry at them because why? Halalu oivdei avodah zarah, halalu oivdei avodah zarah, but ultimately Hashem saved them. So the Vilna Gaon asks, why the first time does it say b'soich hayam vayavasha, and it says chayma male with a vav, and the second time it says vayavasha b'soich hayam, and it says chaser. So he says like this: we know that some Jews took avodah zarah with them when they left Mitzrayim. Which Jews? They took Pesel Micha. How do we know the Jews took Pesel Micha with them? Ve'avar bayam tzara. They took the avodah zarah into the yam. Who took them? Which shevet? The last shevet. The shevet who lagged behind. Dan made Pesel Micha. He's ma'asef l'chal hamachanes. So when the Jews are first going into the yam, you have the good Jews in the yam, and the bad Jews haven't even gone in. They're still by Yavasha. So the first time it says b'soich hayam, the good, the front. Bayabasha is the back. So now it's chayma. There's no anger here. But the second time, the good Jews were already Bayabasha, and the bad Jews are b'soich hayam. The bad Jews b'soich hayam are va'avar bayam tzara. That's why v'hamayim lahem choyma, but it's spelled chema. Okay, let's do the last pasuk. V'gibartim b'Hashem. They will be empowered by God. Uvishmai, and in His name Yishalachu they will go. Nu'um Hashem, so says Hashem. So, like we mentioned, most Mefarshim learn this refers to the Messianic era, how Hashem will return all the tribes in the times of Mashiach, and some learn this is a reference to overcoming the Greek Empire in the times of the Chashmonam. But as we mentioned in the beginning of the Shiur, not so easy to know exactly what the prophecies mean, because these are not like the Nevi'im Rishonim that were more of Asbaklaria Ha'meira. This is more the later Nevi'im, which was more Be'ena Me'ira. Okay, Rabbi say, have a good day.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.